September 14th, Las Vegas, Canelo Álvarez versus Edgar Berlanga for the Super Middleweight Championship of the World. Y'all know what it is. It's another breakdown. It's another prediction from the puncher's point. Let's just jump right straight into it. Edgar Berlanga. Look, I already know, Breezy, why you jumping straight to. I don't like this matchup. Y'all know I don't like it. Y'all know Mario doesn't like it. It's not Benavidez. So y'all not finna sit right here and watch me do some cool by high and uplift this fight because it's a terrible fight. But let's get to the breakdown. Edgar Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga, fast hands, very aggressive, had power in both of his hands. Nevertheless, I have a problem with Edgar Berlanga's defense. One thing I learned about Edgar Berlanga, he is so comfortable about being in the inside. He is so comfortable about being in the approaching fight at the beginning of being aggressive and have you against the ropes. And not only that, but teeing off on you and letting exchanges go. But the problem with Edgar Berlanga keeps his hands down. Edgar Berlanga keeps his hands down. And that's something you don't want to do in a fight like this against Canelo Álvarez. Canelo Álvarez is a counterpuncher. Now, another thing about Edgar Berlanga too is that he can box in the middle of the ring, but he has more success when he has fighters counter the corner against the ropes. Now, as far as his footwork is not bad. Although I did see a clip of him getting dropped. Now, what people have to realize is this, right? I told y'all before, the best style that can beat Canelo is a slick boxer. Edgar Berlanga is a boxer, but Edgar Berlanga stands there. Edgar Berlanga is in your face. Edgar Berlanga is in your face the whole fight, and his best approach to you is getting you against the ropes, backing you up, cutting the ring off on you, and teeing off on you. Although he does have power. Now, look, I know a lot of people start questioning his powers because he stopped getting knockouts, which y'all gotta, as boxing fans, y'all gotta stop doing that because everybody's not gonna always get knockouts. But then again, y'all gotta remember at that time of point, they were supposed to uplift Edgar Berlanga. They were supposed to make him like a dominant monster. So of course he was in the ring with guys he was gonna quote unquote knocked out. But nevertheless, he's at the big boy stage. So I think what Edgar Berlanga is gonna have to do this fight, you're gonna have to mix it up. You're gonna have to definitely move around, use your angles, use footwork. You're gonna definitely have to go in there and basically show Canelo that a lot of fighters they go in there and they don't go in there with the anticipation to win. A lot of people go in the ring have respect for Canelo. Case in point, Caleb Plant. Did I do good? Am I good enough? I hated that. That burned my soul hearing that. Go in there, establish dominance, mix it up, use footwork, be slick. Don't just stand there. The problem with Edgar Berlanga, he just stands there. Although he does have power, he's very fast with his hands, but you just stand there. You don't have no real defense. You keep your hands down sometimes, and that's how he got caught the one time in a fight that I seen. He got caught, he got dropped. What do you think Canelo's going to do with you just standing right there in front of him? So you're going to have to move around, keep a nice, decent guard on you, use head movement, use footwork. Not only that, too, use your jab. You have power. You have enough pop in your punches to have a nice established jab on Canelo. So that'll be my breakdown for Edgar Berlanga. Mario, what will be your breakdown for Edgar Berlanga?
Well, I'm gonna say this for everybody wondering. I really am a fan of Edgar Berlanga. He's one of my favorite. I'm not even gonna lie. He has been one of my favorite fighters to watch, or like keep him on like prospects, as you could say, keep him on the radar. The problem is Edgar Berlanga, 22-0. He's undefeated with 17 knockouts. We remember when he was on that huge knockout streak, and there were so many knockouts in a row where he was just knocking guys out in the first round. And after they started picking up the competition, he went from 16 straight knockouts to 5 straight decisions until he beat Quigley. He battered Quigley. Now I'm gonna say this right now. If the Edgar Berlanga that comes into this fight is the same Edgar Berlanga that fought Quigley, oh, Canelo's gonna have a hard time beating this guy. I'm saying that right now because he dominated Quigley. He basically broke Quigley's will. And the strengths that I have for Edgar Berlanga is first of all that right hand. That right hand can do some damage, and that right hand is a problem. So I think Canelo Alvarez is gonna have to watch out for that right hand. What I saw in the Quigley fight was Edgar Berlanga did a good job of when he had him against the ropes, land 2 or 3 punches and back up. What I noticed with Canelo Alvarez was that, like you said, it takes a slick boxer to beat him. And like you said, Edgar Berlanga is a boxer, but he's not a slick boxer. And so because of that, that could be a problem. However, there have been moments of Edgar Berlanga boxing as slick as he should. And I feel like the best Edgar Berlanga you're gonna get is you go back and you watch the Quigley fight. That's the best Berlanga you're gonna get right there. Because that Berlanga, I'll say this, my bad. I gotta correct myself from earlier. He didn't knock him out. It was a decision, but he knocked him down 4 times. It should have been stopped, to be honest with you. It was just he just battered him. But overall, what he did in that fight, he showed that he can go the distance, and he showed that he can dominate through the distance. And that's the Edgar Berlanga that I want to see. Because let's be honest, Breezy, he's not knocking out Canelo. Canelo's been hit by shots by guys who are way more stronger than Edgar Berlanga. No disrespect to Edgar Berlanga, but Edgar Berlanga is not no Triple G. Okay, if Canelo can take the power of Triple G, he can take Edgar Berlanga's shot. So Edgar cannot go into this fight talking about how he's going to knock out Canelo, how he's going to stop him, how he can't do that. You got to realize that you're going to go into this fight, and the best way you're going to go into this fight is to outbox Canelo and beat him. Guess who else couldn't knock him out? Bivol. And Bivol is a whole weight class heavier than him. Now, Bivol, regardless, isn't the strongest light heavyweight. Better be of. That's a different story for a different time. However, Canelo had a lot of problems with Bivol. Why? Because Bivol wasn't giving in to the whole, I'm going to go into the inside and throw as many punches as I possibly can. The one mistake I made when talking about what Jaime Munguia was supposed to do against Canelo was throw your punches in bunches. With Canelo, you can't do that. And I learned that because the more you stay on the inside with Canelo Alvarez, the better chances he has of counterpunching you, the better chances he has of figuring you out. What you have to do is use your jab. Number one, that's the biggest thing. Use your jab. You got to use your jab, and you got to make sure that you keep him at bay with that jab. That's what Bivol did. He threw that jab as much as he possibly can, and Canelo couldn't find a way around it. Then once you start using your jab, use some nice 1-2 straights and use that to get into the inside. When you get into the inside, land a couple shots and back out. Because Canelo doesn't like it when you continuously move. Canelo doesn't like it when you go into the inside, hit him 2 or 3 times, and you back out before he can even touch you. And I'm not and look, Canelo is still the face of boxing. He still is a big threat. He still is that guy. However, we can't act like this is the same Canelo that that was on the chase for Undisputed by beating Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant, Triple G, and all of them. We can't act like it's the same Canelo. I'm not lying. He's slowing down a bit, man. I mean, the last 2 performances that he has, it hasn't been that great. So I feel like with Edgar Berlanga has the tools to beat Canelo, just like Jaime Munguia had the tools to beat Canelo. However, the problem is you're not going to beat Canelo if you think you're going to go in there and just batter him. You have to outbox him. You're going to have to take some shots on the arm. Canelo is going to land some shots on you. He's Canelo Alvarez. He's the face of boxing. He is probably the most experienced boxer in today's game, most accomplished boxer, possibly, arguably, in today's game. So you really got to watch out for that type of stuff. He's going to hit you. He's going to hit you in your arm. He's going to hit you in the head. He's going to hit you in the body. And I'm not going to lie. It's going to be a pain. It's going to be a big MF to deal with. But if Edgar Berlanga can keep him at bay, use that jab, get into the inside lane, 2 or 3 punches and back out and make Canelo constantly move in this fight, I think Edgar can pull off the upset. But that's a hard thing to do against somebody like Canelo Alvarez. And the last thing I want to say is before I wrap this up, I don't want to keep blabbering. Before I wrap this up, the last thing I want to say is if you look at Jaime Munguia, if you look at Edgar Berlanga, maybe not actually, I'm going to take Jaime Munguia. If you look at these two guys fighting, they fight exactly how Canelo did at 20 something years old. Exactly how they did, exactly how Canelo did before Canelo got beat by Floyd. They fight the same exact way, thinking that it's just going to be pure pressure and that's going to be enough to stop them. When Floyd outclassed Canelo, Canelo learned defense. And when Canelo learned defense, that's when he became a better fighter. I honestly say it. The best thing that could have happened to Canelo was losing to Floyd. Because when he lost to Floyd, he became even better defensively. These guys, if they think they're just going to go in and pressure Canelo without any defense, they're wrong. Edgar Berlanga is going to have to learn from Jaime Munguia's mistakes. And If he can use that jab, last time I'm going to say, if he can use that jab, if he can go into the inside, land 2-3 punch combinations and back out, I think he has a good chance of winning this fight, but that's going to be tough.
Now on to breakdown of Canelo. Look, y'all, I did film study, and I don't want to sound like an Edgar Berlanga hater. I don't. I promise y'all I don't. But this is tailor made for Canelo. And I hate to say that. I hate to say that, but this style is tailor made for Canelo. Why do I say that? Of course, let's get to Canelo. Impressive with cutting the ring off. His body attacks is insane. Now, one thing I will say about Canelo, he starts off slow. We've seen that progressively in his career. Yes, he does win in the later rounds. Yes, he does win the scorecards. But if y'all been watching Puncher's Point for as long as y'all have, y'all know how I feel about fighters that start off late or slow. I'm not a fan of it. Another thing too is he has enough power to still hurt you. What the Hami Munguia fight should have told people is that when you're fighting Canelo, two things you got to understand. You can't stand there in front of him the whole fight, and you can't try to exchange with him for too long. He still has enough power to drop you and hurt you. How does this play ahead to Mr. Berlanga? Well, Berlanga loves to exchange. What about Canelo? Canelo is a masterful counterpuncher. How many times have we seen that in his career? He has got a lot of stoppages off of counterpunching. So that's another thing too. Is very, 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 very high caliber at counterpunching. Now, like I said earlier, he doesn't have the best footwork. So that's why he tends to struggle with slick boxers. And I remember when Eddie Reynoso made a comment about like regarding fighters that like to run. Of course, if y'all don't understand what he was referring to, basically when Oscar Valdez fought Shakur Stevenson, the quote unquote style of running. I call it the hit not get hit style, but Eddie Reynoso calls it running. But that's why I say Canelo, he's never been the type to really have the best success when it comes to slick boxers. And like I said before, Berlanga is not a slick boxer. Berlanga is a stay in your face the whole night type fighter. I'm gonna stay in your face. I'm gonna throw punches in hopes that it hurts you. But what I'm saying is, what happens when Berlanga gets too comfortable and starts trying to throw too much punches, and that counter punching of Canelo comes in? Like I said, I've seen him get dropped. I'm not saying Edgar Berlanga is a bum. I'm not saying he can't win, but I've seen him get dropped and touched by a guy who is fairly on a lower experience level of Canelo. So it's kind of hard to see somebody like Canelo with the experience he have all the styles of fighters he just been in the ring with. It's just hard to see that not happening. Now, like I said, this is not necessarily just about Canelo's power and his ability to cut the ring off and attack the body. This is all about his IQ also. Canelo's, like I just said, Canelo's been in there with more names. He's been in there with more, different kinds of styles. So it's like the experience gap is just too far apart. So not only is an attribute thing, it's not only just about a skills aspect, but it's like the experience levels are just too far apart. And I don't think there's anything that Edgar Berlanga can possess for Canelo. So like I said, Canelo, very powerful, can cut the ring off, can attack the body real well. And not only too, he can counterpunch you at any given point in time. And he still has the ability to hurt you. I learned that with the Hamid Munguia fight. He can still drop you. He can still hurt you. He could possibly still stop you. So, and as far as his weaknesses, like I said, don't have the best feet. He can't really do too well with slick boxers, but that doesn't really necessarily apply in this scenario. And that's about it. That's my breakdown for Canelo.
About Canelo is, he's experienced. He's a seasoned vet. And what I love about Canelo is he will target any single part of your body. We said that in the last prediction episode that Canelo Álvarez is so good at attacking any part of your body that he can. If he sees that chin open, he's going to clip it. If he sees that body open, he's going to hit it. If he sees that arm exposed, he's going to batter that arm to stop you from trying to block his punches. What I love about Canelo as well is he can do basically anything that you want to do. If it comes down to him having to counterpunch somebody, Canelo can do it. If it comes down to him having to pressure somebody and back him up against the ropes, Canelo can do it. And on top of that, the guy has got incredible power. I think his power translates to light heavyweight. Now, I know what y'all gonna say. Well, if that's the case, why couldn't he beat Bivol? Let me explain it one more time. Bivol beat him by outboxing him. Bivol didn't beat him by basically outpowering him. He beat him by outboxing him. But Canelo's power is up there, man. And I know he's not the same Canelo that he was probably 5 years ago, but we can't make the same mistake that Canelo Alvarez is still him. As long as he is in the sport of boxing, he is the face of boxing. So that's all the strengths I have for Canelo. Canelo, future first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, the guy's a legend in the sport. You know, like I said, the face of boxing. He's, in my opinion, the greatest Mexican boxer to ever live. You know, some people are going to say Julio Cesar Chavez. Some people are going to say Salvador Sanchez. It's Canelo Alvarez, and I don't want to hear nobody else say otherwise. Now, as far as the weaknesses with Canelo Alvarez, there's been 3 fighters that have given this guy problems. Okay, Floyd Mayweather, by basically counterpunching him, and that was a young Canelo Alvarez. So we can't even use that Canelo Alvarez because he's learned from those mistakes. As I said, after the Floyd Mayweather fight, he got better. Triple G, the first time, if you go look at the fight between him and Triple G was in his face the entire time. He imposed pressure on him, and Triple G also made sure that he was going to make it a very grueling fight for Canelo Alvarez. He was going to let him know, if you're going to punch me one of those hits, I'm going to punch you right back. I am going to throw those punches because I am on the same level. Berlanga is not on the same level as Triple G. And last but not least, Dimitri Bivol. I'm not going to lie. Before the fight,
And Landy Lower. That was still like it was a bit of a toss up, but
that's a
some
fair
people
one
like to
too.
throw Landy Lower in there too.
That's a fair one too. Landy Laura. The last one I wanted to get to was Dimitri Bivol. Now, Dimitri Bivol, I'm not gonna lie, I never heard of Bivol before that fight because I wasn't too familiar with the light heavyweights. What happened though, how I got familiar with Bivol was that fight itself. And what I learned was it's going to take a boxer to beat Canelo. But not only that, but Bivol did a very good job of using his reach because he was so much taller. He did a very good job of keeping Canelo at distance because here's the thing. Canelo wants to get onto the inside. Do I believe he can box you on the outside? Sure. Do I believe he's better on the inside? 100%. That's the Mexican style of boxing. I'm not saying all Mexican fighters fight that way because Salvador Sanchez did not fight that way. But Julio Cesar Chavez could kick your ass any way he wanted to, but that is the main style of Mexican boxing. We're going to get into the inside and we're going to batter you. And Canelo Alvarez, we know how wholeheartedly he chooses Mexican boxing. You know, he takes it like we see it. That's his style. And he wants to get into the inside, but because Bivol was using that reach and using that jab constantly, Canelo couldn't do it. I remember one specific moment in that fight where Bivol put him up against those ropes, threw 5 punches at him while he was on the ropes, backed up, and Canelo said, come back here some more. And Bivol was like, I'm not falling for that. You're going to come over to me or else we're not going to fight. And they were staring at each other. And Canelo realized this guy's not coming to me. I got to make sure I start moving forward because Bivol wasn't falling for that. What do you think Bivol was going to do? Go back on the ropes and try to get counterpunched? No, Bivol's smarter than that. So what I think Canelo Alvarez needs to do, one of the weaknesses I forgot to mention with Edgar Berlanga, if you go back and watch his film, every single time Edgar Berlanga gets clipped, it's on the left side. Every single time. Every time he gets clipped, it's on the left side. That is this. You guess what? Guess what he gets hit by? Right-handers. Canelo, land that right hook, land that right uppercut, and that's it. I'm just saying that's all he has to do. He has to use one hand, and that's it. Because Edgar Berlanga, every single fight, when he throws a punch, he drops his left hand. He drops his left hand every single time. Just I'm looking at the film and I'm like, come on, Berlanga, keep the hand up. That's what you got to do. He's going to drop that hand when he throws a punch. And when he throws that punch, Canelo can come over there and clip him and knock him down. The other thing with Edgar Berlanga is Edgar Berlanga, again, there's times where he can outbox, and there's times when he just wants to get into the inside. You're not going to be able to win an inside battle with Canelo Alvarez. But if Canelo Alvarez can get to the inside, can basically disregard Edgar Berlanga's power, then it's not going to be too much of a fight. What I think Canelo Alvarez needs to do to win this fight is I think he needs to get onto the inside and outbox Berlanga from the inside. When you see Berlanga throw a punch, expect him to drop that right hand. And when he drops it, you clip him with a hook, an overhand, whatever you want to do. And at the end of the day, last but not least, when you get Edgar Berlanga hurt, finish it early. Because the last thing you want to do is bring it into deeper waters. And the reason why I say that is because the more you give Edgar Berlanga time to recover, the more he's going to get his style back. What you want to do is you want to stop him early. You want to stop him early so he doesn't have that option. So that would be my breakdown for Canelo Álvarez as far as strengths, weaknesses, and winning the fight. Now, as far as betting odds, this is the part that everybody loves. Okay, Breezy? Now, if y'all listened to us last time, the over-under was 4.5 rounds. Guess what? Inoue knocked out Doheny in round 7. Guess who had a perfect prediction? My co-host Breezy right here. But if you listen to us, we both said over 4 rounds because we knew TJ Doheny had a little bit more skills to go past 4. So the over-under for this fight is, as of right now, they got Canelo Álvarez at a minus 1,600 favorite, while they have Edgar Berlanga at a plus 950. So here's the question. The question is always, well, obviously, I'm gonna ask who do you think is gonna win and how do you see it going? But the question is always, should we put a bet on the underdog? That's always been the question. Should we put a bet on the underdog? And if so, then what should we do? And on top of that, if we want to bet the favorite, what's the best outcome for that? So let me get to that right now. Obviously, we just mentioned the favor and the underdog. That was given. So the over under. So if it goes over 8.5, it is at minus 125. If it goes under 8.5, it's minus 110. So the least favorable outcome is, a lot of people believe that Canelo Álvarez is going to stop Edgar Berlanga, or this fight is going to end in a KO or TKO in less than 8.5 rounds. Canelo Álvarez by KO is the most favorable outcome at minus 270. Obviously, draw would be the least favorable outcome because draws usually never happen. But besides a draw, Edgar Berlanga winning by KO and Edgar Berlanga winning by decision is both at plus 1,800. Now, let me give my prediction first. I think if there's a knockout that's going to happen, it's going to happen over the 8.5. I believe it's going to take more than 8 rounds for Canelo Álvarez to knock him out. I do believe that Edgar Berlanga has better defense than Jaime Munguia. And if he couldn't get Jaime Munguia out of there, I don't know how tough Edgar Berlanga is, because I've seen him get knocked out before, come back and win, but he's never been in the ring with somebody like Canelo Álvarez. So that's the question. Can he take that power? Can he take those hits? I do believe Canelo Álvarez is going to knock him down before the 8th round, but I don't think he's going to knock him out before the 8th round. I think he'll knock him down before it, but not knock him out. So you ask me what my prediction is. I'm going to have to go Canelo Álvarez. Part of me wants to say decision, and part of me wants to say TKO. I'm going to go Canelo Álvarez I'm going to go decision. I think it's another decision win for Canelo Álvarez. Something's telling me that Edgar Berlanga, and don't ask me why, but it's a gut feeling. Something's telling me Edgar Berlanga is gonna last the 12 rounds. I'm gonna go Canelo Álvarez by decision, which is plus 250. That is the second favorable outcome. So that's the bet I would put right there. The Canelo Álvarez by decision. If y'all want to go bet Edgar Berlanga and take a risk, feel free. But I'm just saying that's I wouldn't bet that. You're just wasting money at that point, in my opinion. And that's no disrespect to Edgar Berlanga. I love the guy. Look, both of them I like. Me personally, a part of me might be cheering on for Edgar Berlanga in this fight because I like him more, but I don't think he's going to beat Canelo. So I'm going to go Canelo Álvarez by decision. Now, Breezy, talk to me. Who do you have winning? How do you see the outcome going?
This is hilarious to me. I'm laughing at this because I can't wait to see the comments after this fight. Not just on the Puncher's Point, but on the Twitter, the Instagram. I can't wait for it. But look, I believe Canelo's going to drop him in the 6th round. And I think 7th round, I think Berlanga's going to get a little bit, emotional. And I think eighth round, Canelo's gonna finish him off with a TKO. I think Canelo's gonna catch him with something, and he gonna get up. He gonna walk straight, but I think he gonna do him a little bit, kind of like Caleb Plant, a little bit, not all the way, but I think it's gonna be kind of similar to the Caleb Plant stoppage. So Berlanga's gonna get knocked down in the sixth. Canelo's gonna finish him off in the eighth round, kind of similar to how he did Caleb Plant. That's my prediction.
Wow. So you got the favorable prediction and the favorable, and you got him going under. I got him over. That's interesting. Either way, we both got Canelo Alvarez winning this fight.
And the reason why I said that is because let me say once again, this man drops his guard. I've seen this man get dropped by somebody who don't even have the amount of experience or power Canelo has. And look, I know we don't like talking about sparring, but sparring is all about teaching and learning. Even when he got dropped by Erickson Lubin in sparring, it's something about when a certain amount of power touches a certain kind of chin, it just gives away. And God forbid, and that's why I said about the Rolly thing. It felt like once Tank touched Rolly Chin has been butter ever since. And that's no disrespect to the guy, but I don't trust his chin. All 12 rounds, I don't trust it. I've seen this guy make the same mistake before, and he's been caught. One time he got dropped. The other times he was the other fights, he was able to get caught with something, but he was able to still be on his feet and win the fight. You in there with a different animal, higher IQ, higher experience. It's just a different ball game from when you fighting those guys that's not on your level. It's different, and I just don't think his chin gonna hold for 12 rounds.
See, the reason why I think Berlanga is going to outlast the 12 rounds is because, yeah, I've seen him get clipped by somebody who isn't on the level of Canelo. I see him get knocked down. But the thing is with Edgar Berlanga too, in fights, I really haven't seen moments where he's like I've seen him get clipped. I haven't seen moments where he's got hurt. I would like to think his chin can hold it. He can hold the power. I'm not sure. It's a very iffy prediction. And look, if y'all want to go knockout, feel free. If y'all want to go decision, feel free. As long as you pick Canelo, I think you got a good chance. But all I'm saying is this. Worst thing comes to worst. Once Edgar Berlanga feels that power, I think he's going to kind of I hope not, but I think he's going to turn into Jermell Charlo and just kind of hope to survive the fight. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I think is going to happen. And once he feels that power.
And y'all forgive me and excuse me for my language. That's what pisses me off the most about Canelo's opponents. I hate that. I hate that to the utmost. Look, I'm all about showing a fighter respect, but when you get in that damn ring, you're supposed to be punching him in his face. Why are you kissing his behind in that damn ring? Caleb Plant, I'll rock with you heavy, but till this day, why the hell is you talking to that man in the damn ring while you fighting him? Like, look, I get it. He has this long resume. He's done this. He's done that. He's done everything you could think of. But I'm sorry. Y'all gotta stop kissing that man's butt. He a grown man. Once you get in the ring with him, it's time to throw hands and let leather touch leather. I don't understand these fighters today. Jamel, you kept talking for the culture, for the culture. You on Instagram Live outside talking about, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I'm Big Charlo. You get in the ring, you taking a knee and whatnot. What the hell? What are you kneeling for? You kneeling like you're about to propose to Canelo. I don't get these fighters. Y'all, oh, Canelo this, Canelo, I do this to Canelo. And once you get into the damn ring with Canelo, y'all act like y'all his damn wife. Stop getting that kissing his behind and fight the damn man. Stop doing that respect shit in the ring. The man, stop doing all that kissing behind shit. This is why I don't even like coverage because they do the same stuff. They get in the ring. Oh, Canelo, I love you. Stop that shit, man. It's just aggravating. Fight the man.
And look, that's what I respect so much about Jaime Munguia. Despite what happened, he kept fighting, he kept pushing forward, and he was every single round he was trying to push the pace. That's what I respect about Jaime Munguia. Jaime Munguia, look, because of that one fight, I'm a fan of Jaime Munguia. I hope he comes back. I hope he bounces back and learns from it. That's the way you need to fight Canelo, regardless. And we're not gonna lie, you know our opinions on that. I think y'all were watching a completely different fight than us. I think it was a pretty close fight, if you ask me. But that's besides the point. Edgar Berlanga is going to have to do the same exact thing. Just come forward, just keep pushing forward, keep hitting him with that jab. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think Canelo's going to outpower him.
Berlanga, don't you go in there and start pulling no damn Jermell Charlos and don't do that. All right. It's a lot. My boy Mario is riding out on you. It's a lot of people riding on you to do something special in this damn fight. Don't you go out like Jermell. Look. I'm. Can I just speak for the culture right quick? The culture my culture is mad at Jermell to this day because of the shit he put in that Canelo fight. Don't you do that, Berlanga. You better not go up in there and start doing that Jermell Charlo shit. You better not. You better go in there ready to knock his head between the wash and the dry. I'm just saying.
And here's the crazy thing, okay? In boxing, there's been a big rivalry between Puerto Rican fighters versus Mexican fighters. I mean, we can go back to Wilfredo Gomez versus Salvador Sanchez, Miguel Cotto versus Margarito. I mean, Felix Tito Trinidad. I mean, I know Oscar De La Hoya is not like from Mexico, but Oscar De La Hoya is Mexican descent. I mean, look, Puerto Rican fighters and Mexican fighters, they've always been it's always been a rivalry. It's the best rivalry in boxing right there. And both of them are tough as nails. Look, Edgar Berlanga, he wears Puerto Rico on his sleeve. He wears Brooklyn on his sleeve. Let me tell you something. Those are two cultures you do not want to piss off. So if you're going to do the same thing Jermell Charlo did, it's going to be an issue. And Edgar Berlanga talking about how he had a dream that him and Canelo were going to make history. Look, you better hope that's good history for you, because I'm just saying, if you do the same thing they did, you're just going to be in the history book as another opponent Canelo kicked ass. And it's not even, you're going to be in the history books as another opponent that Canelo beat. So you're going to have to go in there and you're going to have to actually bring the fight to Canelo.
You, like I said, I'm speaking for the culture. My culture is still mad at Jermell Charlo to this day. I know people to this day. They're like, man, I'm still pissed off at Jermell Charlo to this day. But I'm telling you, don't go. Please, fighters, do not go in there and sell yourself short for a bag. Please. I get it. Look, you're already getting it back. So why not at least try to get a win? You not know how amazing it would be to have Canelo on your resume as a win? Nah, y'all just going in there taking knees like y'all about to propose to him and shit. Take him out to lunch, take him out to dinner, take him around the city and shit. Y'all just I don't know. Berlanga, just listen, bro. I know you're not watching this, but I'm speaking to you like you are watching this. Don't pull no Jermell Charlo stunt. If I have to see one more fighter go in the ring and pull a Jermell Charlo, I might break some in my room. And I love my belongings in my. I don't know. Y'all gotta stop doing that respectful shit in the ring. Keep that shit outside of the ring after the fight. But when you in that ring, knock that man head out between the damn wash and the dryer. I need to stop that. Good luck, Berlanga. Good luck.
Now look, before Breezy gets an aneurysm, all right? I think we gotta end this episode. We said everything we had to say. You know what I'm saying? September 14th, that's when they're gonna be fighting. And on top of that, it's going to be rivaling the UFC. UFC's having their first event in the Sphere. Both going to be on Mexican Independence weekend. You know, that's Canelo's weekend to fight. Canelo got to bring a show. I mean, not only are you competing against the UFC technically that day, but it's Mexican Independence weekend, which, by the way, I'm sorry, but Canelo needs to go back to Mexico and fight. He needs to go fight he needs to return to fight in Mexico, okay? I want people to clarify that right now. He needs to return to fight in Mexico because that's his place. The people love him over there. And usually when he goes back, it's usually a big, big crowd. He always does it in Vegas. I understand it, but I would really like to see another Canelo Álvarez fight in Mexico. But we're getting it in Las Vegas against Edgar Berlanga. It's not David Benavidez like we wanted to. But you know what? Hey, we don't make the fights. We just cover them. Put it that way. So with that being said, if y'all want more predictions, more betting guides, more breakdowns, more post-fight breakdowns, more updates, news, all that, please stay in tack with the Puncher's Point. Please tune in to the Puncher's Point. Okay, we're going to keep dropping, and our days have been very, very predictable, but one thing's for certain, you're going to get a good 3 episodes a week, at least with us. And on top of that, make sure you go check out the Instagram, the Twitter, or the X, whatever you want to call it. Make sure y'all go check out the podcast as well. I mean, the podcast, you got to get that thing booming as well, too. We got some great things coming for the podcast. We got some new content come season 4 for podcasts. So make sure y'all be tuning into that as well. And with that being said, again, for all things boxing, make sure y'all stay on point with the Puncher's Point.